How's it going, everyone? Sethphir here. We are back with another Tower of Fantasy video. Today we are going to be talking about the limited banner schedule. This is most likely what we'll be getting in the global version of the game. We're going to be talking about the Chinese limited banner schedule and the history, what has came out and in what order, and that will give us a good idea of what to expect in the future. However, we could get some surprises on the global version, and that's just entirely up to devs and a guessing game at this point, but this will give us a good reference as to what we may possibly expect, as well as identify some new characters that we might want to look out for in the future. So we're going to head over to this Tower of Fantasy Index website, a very useful tool for raw data information. So we're going to go ahead and check that out. So shout out to everyone involved in that project. This is definitely a good source of info. I'll put a link in the description down below if you want to explore it and check out all that stuff for yourself as well. So we're going to go ahead and expand this and scroll down to the bottom, and we will see a timeline from where characters were released and how long they were released for on the Chinese version of the game. So at the very first, down in the bottom, we have Claudia, which was released. It did run for 14 days, and it came about the second week of the game, so there seemed to be like a sort of dead time before a banner character was released, and then after that everything seemed to chain very consecutively, constant limited banners being cycled through. After Claudia, we have Cobalt-B, which is definitely a interesting character. She does make all those vehicles, it looks like, inside of Tower of Fantasy. Next up, we have Baiyuekui, and then followed by Marc, which was a collaboration event. I believe these are characters from another game or event or something. Comment down below if you know what these characters are actually from, because I'm not sure if they're Tower of Fantasy exclusive characters, but it looks like each of those banners last about 18 days. So that first Claudia banner was 14, and then each one following that was 18, and it seems to switch up a little bit. After that, we have Nemesis for the 19-day long banner, and then we had a brief reprieve where we had a Claudia rerun, it looks like, for 2 days, and then finally we had Frigg. Frigg was one of the main, I guess, villains in the arc of the TOF stories from what it looks like at the start. And then we had another Cobalt-B rerun, followed up by Ruby, which was a brand new character, and then Baiyuekui and Marc rerun once again for 10 days, and then Saki after that, followed by a Nemesis and Frigg rerun, and then Lyn, which was a brand new character, and then finally Lyra is one of the new ones that is coming up here. So we'll go ahead and take a look real quick at some of these characters and just kind of see what they look like and what we can expect. We're not going to go in a big overall detail of every single character, but I will tell you which ones were coming out on the closed betas, and that'll give you some good information. So the closed beta did follow the exact Chinese scheduled release. The first character we got in the closed beta was 2 weeks later, and it was Claudia. Claudia is a katana-based weapon, physical damage, and this weapon is really good in PvP. It is decent in PvE as well. It does have some builds that can accelerate and push physical damage weapons to the next level, but I think it really shines the most in PvP. This is very deadly when paired with some shields and healing. And then we also had Cobalt-B, which did hit the banner on the CBT in the last couple of days. It wasn't out that long, so that was the last character we saw. This is a sort of fire, like shotgun type deal. It seems to have very powerful skill cooldowns from what I've seen and heard of. It does a lot of damage when you have those abilities up, but if you don't have them up, then it's not the best in that remark. And then we have a lot of the characters that are exclusive to the Chinese version. As you can see, these are kind of listed in order with the simulacrums list here. We have Baiyuekui, who is a thunder katana as well, and this is probably one of the better characters. I see a lot of Chinese tier lists listing this as one of the highest weapons that everybody uses, and couple this usually with Nemesis, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. Next we have Marc, which is that sort of I guess he's like a shield, like vehicle type character, and he is physical element. This guy is also very high up on the tier list. A lot of people like to use Marc in a combination as a supporting effect with a lot of their builds with their 3 characters that they pick. And then we have Nemesis, who seems to be one of the stronger supports. This is a lightning type character, and this one pairs really well with Baiyuekui, making that very, very strong combination, as well as allowing some additional options like Crow to be entered into the mix with like a full lightning team. And then next we have Frigg, which seems to be like sort of a longer sword type character. Ice as well on the element. She definitely has some cool skills that you can check out, but I haven't seen too much of her in terms of the tier list. And then we have a lot of the newer characters, which are going to be super hard to rank because they were out for a very limited amount of time. So it looks like we have Ruby here, who seems to have this little sort of gadget, which will be a flame type character. Then we have Saki, which is ice, looks like a dual blade. And then Lyn, which will be some sort of fan, and a different element here. It says aberration. So I'm interested to see what that actually means. I don't know if we add in a new element later on down the line. That would be kind of cool to see, but it does look to be like a wind type attribute. If you know anything about that from the Chinese version, go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what this element aberration type means, and then we'll check that one out. And then Lyra will be the most recent character in the Chinese version. I wouldn't expect to get this character for quite some time, but it does look to have these giant mechanical arms, which seems really fun, labeled as a support character and the physical element. So that could be really interesting to check out. So that's going to be it. My predictions are that most likely we are going to follow the same banner release schedule as the Chinese version. However, the developers could have some surprises in store for us. We may just have to wait and see what those are. Maybe they'll mix it up. Maybe we'll get a exclusive simulacrum for global. That would be interesting to see. I don't know. Comment down below. Let me know what you think could potentially happen here. It's pretty much your guess is as good as mine at this point, but I would say that following this same schedule, especially since that is what happened in the closed beta test, is more than likely going to be what's actually going to happen here. All right, that's going to be it for this one, everyone. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell if you haven't already. We will be covering a lot of Tower of Fantasy content, including the PvE, PvP, as well as all of the chest locations, secrets, dungeons, everything like that. We're going to cover full guides for everything, so it's definitely going to be the place to go. So if you're interested in more content like that, make sure to stick around. Thanks for watching once again, and we will catch you in the next video.